Okay.
You said that you worked for a company, and then they changed their business model, right? So you worked as a trainer for a company, and they changed their business model on you. Would you mind talking about that and share that with a little bit with us?
Yes. Well, the company that I was working with is Best Day Fitness here in St. Petersburg. It's a private studio, all functional training. When I went there, I understood what functional training was. I've been there about 5 years, but I didn't. The owner, Chris, kind of took me under his wing and was willing to teach me a little bit more. And of course, I'm an avid learner, and as long as you're willing to come in there and learn, then they'll let you shadow. And then eventually he wanted me there, and I had a book of clients that I did bring over there, but it did turn into just an hourly position. He was paying his clients a good amount hourly. It was good for the normal rate of what a trainer would make with my level of experience at that time, and of course, he had his business to run too. So of course, he charges. That's what gyms do. They charge a lot more for the services, and then they pay their trainers a certain amount. But then they've got their overhead. So that lasted. I mean, we unfortunately we all went through COVID together. We had to pivot that business model a few times. I mean, and thankfully he is just a very open-minded, forward entrepreneur himself. And I love him to death. I think he's one of the best humans on the planet, honestly. He'd probably be somebody you might want to interview. I mean, you would love to talk to this guy. He just has some fantastic ideas. And so as soon as COVID happens and they told us, no more, you're not coming in this facility, you just figure it out. And so thankfully, I was also working as a virtual health coach for another company. So I was health coaching at that time. So it's not like it was my only job, but I was like, well, how can I make this happen? How can you train people? I had never thought that you could train people online. I'm like, how would that work? And of course, you can't do that with everyone. I have clients that are in their late 70s that are working particularly just on balance. There's no way you're training someone on balance and stability when they're using a walker to come into the studio. There's no way you're training them online, So for some people it didn't happen, and then of course some people would make home visits, but anyway, I got into virtual training through this time, and then of course we all started coming back, but it still just wasn't profitable for a while. And so for him, the owner at Best Day, the best thing for him to do, and he ended up bringing someone on that was similar to what you do, is making fitness businesses profitable. She had done it out in Colorado, up in New York, and so she kind of travels around the country, finds businesses that need her. And I mean, she was fantastic. She knew what she was doing. And her idea in the beginning, of course, it wasn't the initial idea was not going to be, hey, let's make them all their own business owners and just make this a space rental model. But I think when she came in and she saw all of us and how passionate we were and how we each had our own niches, and we are not, and I'm not bragging by any means, but we are not just your typical group of just box gym trainers. We all have specialties. We all we study this. We are constantly doing continuing education, and he affectionately calls us the besties because it's Best Day Fitness. He just, it seemed like the logical thing to do, right? Is to, moving forward, it was just an evolution process, and we all would have meetings every week. Well, how are we going to do things? And what are we going to, and I mean, they basically taught us how to become an entrepreneur and how do you open up your own LLC? How do you do the bank account thing? How do you do your accounting? And so for almost a year before, we had these meetings about how to, how are you going to do this? We're going to handhold you into your own business. So it was interesting because I was, they'll tell you, I was kind of angry. I mean, they were like, she wasn't herself. I was mad because I was like, I liked it the way it was. But like I said, it's been the best thing that's ever happened. And anything in my life, I've noticed anything that's ever happened where it just shocked the hell out of me and made me have to pivot to something completely different. I never liked it. No, I don't think anyone likes change, but I've learned to embrace it and just take on the challenge of it. And then I've always come out of it saying, this is great. I'm glad I did that.
Right. You know, it's the forging of a diamond.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine the hellish screams a diamond would make in the process of being created. Right? Like, it's like the unrelenting forces necessary to create one. You know, pressure, time, heat, you know, all the things that just make most people crack. Mm-hmm. But when we admire success, we typically admire success bank account, the house, the car, the way that they behave, you know, the things that are afforded because of the sacrifices and challenges they've gone through. Mm-hmm. For me, look for the blueprint. Like, the blueprint, you're going to create your own thing because it's your flavor. Right. If you take their blueprint, you're going to get your own thing. Do you want exactly that person's life, or do you want a version of that person's life?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Learning how to pivot to change direction based off of the current circumstances, or how to stay continuous.